You have a great profile, income very high, working for an international company, and yet maybe the banks are denying your mortgage. It can be the cause that your income is paid from abroad or in different currencies. My name is Robin, I'm founder of Expats Finance, and with more than 13 years of experience in mortgage advisory for expats, today we're breaking down the topic of being employed by a foreign company or with a foreign currency. We have to look into this topic from two distinctive perspectives. One is income coming from abroad, and a second, which can be connected to the first one, in different currency. Very often clients are employed by a company in France or in the UK, and they're being paid a salary in the Czech Republic. And this is the first type of income which I would break down, and that is being employed, but from a company in a different country. Now, how do banks look into it? This is generally doable as long as we prove that your point of interest is Czech Republic, preferably some form of residency. Or if you're married to a Czech citizen, then it helps because then the banks will accept income from abroad from different countries. However, they also look into what currency you're paid in. Specifically, the best are euros, US dollars, Swiss francs, and British pounds. Any other bank, and the more, let's say, exotic the currency is, the less is the likelihood of the banks approving or accepting this type of income. Second topic would be that you are still working abroad, meaning maybe you still have residency, but you're physically abroad. Now, the best chance is if you happen to be married to a Czech citizen, then it should be no problem. Or again, if you still hold some residency. But if you are an expat who has no residency in the Czech Republic, no connection in terms of employment, so you're a French citizen working in France with almost no history in Czech Republic, it's not possible to get financing. Second option is that you are a self-employed person. So again, two options. Either you are self-employed in the Czech Republic and your suppliers provide you with payments in euros, so you're invoicing to another country. Generally, this is fine, this is accepted, but some banks can reduce the income a little bit because you're paid in different currency, or they will require a longer history. So that is if you were self-employed in the Czech Republic, invoicing outside of Czech Republic in different currency. However, if you are technically a self-employed in a different country, in the US or in the UK, you're filing local tax returns, not here but there, well then this is considered self-employed income from abroad in different currency. There is only one bank which accepts this type of income under certain conditions, and that is either you have permanent residency or you're married to a Czech citizen. Or maybe you're a business owner. Well, good for you, and maybe you have a company in a different country. Perhaps you are a founder of some startup in the US. Well, good for you, but for the Czech banks, the trouble is Czech banks are afraid already of Czech companies, and if you would tell them, I own a company abroad and this is my source of income, that is not going to work. Long story short, if your income comes from your own company in a form of dividends or that you just pay yourself whatever you feel like as a company owner, Czech banks are not going to accept the income from abroad. Unless you become employee in your own company, then we will refer to the first point, but we don't really want to point out too much to the bank that, hey, this is my company, I can pay myself whatever salary I want. If you are just an employee, that's good. And if you've made it to the higher level, and perhaps you already sold the companies and you have just a lot of money, some assets maybe in the funds, and they're paying you dividends or any other form of capital gains, then this doesn't work for Czech banks. Czech banks have, again, problem even with Czech capital gains or Czech income from funds. From abroad, this is pretty much impossible. Now, I found one solution, but the gentleman, he had a permanent residency in the Czech Republic. He was living here and he had, I think, about 2 million euros in some funds which were paying him dividends. Individually, we managed to get it accepted, but thanks to his permanent residency. Besides of that, if your ties are not as strong, this income will not be accepted. And if you're renting a property in your home country and you're having a rental income for years, then you might be thinking, okay, so this the banks will definitely accept. No, they won't. Czech banks will not accept any rental income coming from outside of Czech Republic. Why, you're asking? Well, bureaucracy is the answer for everything, but just stay with the answer that no, it's not possible. Then we have to work with the first three types of income. Today, we covered 5 types of income you can have from abroad or in different currency, from which the most likely to be accepted is a full-time employment, less options being self-employed. If you're a company owner, it's almost minimum. And then I was discussing the capital gains or the income from stocks, for example, abroad is again almost impossible. And income from rental abroad, that doesn't work at all. If you're thinking to buy or sell real estate in the Czech Republic, we've created right for you a PDF guidelines with checklists, everything you need to know in order to make the transaction successful. My name is Robin, I'm founder of Expats Finance, and for anything connected to buying or selling, don't hesitate to get in touch. A nice feature of shooting in Libeň or in Palmovka is that we have a big attention of the pigeons. I have no idea what it means, but, well, do you want some properties, guys?